You think that I'm not a hunter like you. And I'm not a threat. That is what makes me dangerous.
Prey is a period science fiction action movie about humankind's encounter with an intelligent extraterrestrial trophy-seeking species. Released by 20th Century Studios as an original film for Hulu streaming, the film is another installment in the Predator franchise and serves as a prequel of sorts to the 1987 original film, as well as the 1990, 2010, and 2018 sequels. Production for this movie began shortly after the last movie, The Predator, which was a soft reboot that added ideas for reasons that didn't make sense and was an embarrassing schlock. The movie was supposed to be the first part of a Predator movie trilogy, but after the studio was sold to the Walt Disney Company, the plans were scrapped and the future of the series was called into question. Until December 2019, a new project by filmmaker Dan Trachtenberg, notable for directing the 2016 sci-fi thriller 10 Cloverfield Lane, got leaked online about a script set during the American Civil War about a Comanche woman who goes against gender norms and traditions to become a warrior was going to be the premise for the next Predator film. I'm not sure gender norms is the best idea for a franchise about an alien race that hunts humans for sport, but here we are. Prey is here. The movie follows a young Comanche girl named Naru, a healer and good tracker who wishes to become a hunter. One day while tracking a deer with her dog, she sees a sign in the sky, a phenomenon that the Comanche call a thunderbird, but actually was a UFO. She takes this as a sign to prove herself to be a hunter when everyone thinks she can't do it. Before long, she is convinced there is something out there, a large creature of sorts, and she becomes hell-bent on hunting it down and killing it.
There's something else out there.
If I had to summarize the plot of Prey, it's essentially the same thing as the first Predator film. But instead of an elite special forces team centered around a soldier dedicated to keeping his men alive and accomplishing their mission, you have a hunter-gatherer society focused on a young Comanche girl wanting to hunt like the males in her tribe who encounter a deadly predator. A skilled, technologically advanced alien who stalks and hunts them down, culminating into a final battle face-to-face. Now, there are some out there who are saying this movie is better than the original Predator. Stop right there. It's a decent movie that prioritizes a clean, simple story with really good cinematography, a serious tone, and gory action scenes. Compared to the original film, it doesn't have any of the visceral horror, that atmosphere of tension, claustrophobia, or paranoia where you feel like anything could happen at any moment. No bending of reality, no characterization, or the Predator being a fleshed out character, which we will get to. The characters in this movie are bland across the board. Naru, played by Amber Midthunder, is a static character with practically no personality while lacking the likability factor. She wishes to become a hunter and gets teased by the guys who state that hunting is men's work, but we learn that she can hold her own in a fight. She's twice as tough as she looks and 3 times more observant than the others, but a lot of her actions and decisions get a lot of people killed, and she never takes the responsibilities of casualties or the situation not turning out the way she hoped. And despite everything she experiences, goes through over the course of the movie, she retains the same personality and outlook as she had at the beginning of the story. A native girl with a chip on her shoulder, determined to defy gender norms and stand up to anyone who disrespects her.
Okay, well, I'll hunt alone if I have to.
You can't.
Do I need your permission, Lord Chief?
The high point of the cast is actor Dakota Beavers Tobb, a pillar of his community, a leader, brother to Naru, and quick on his feet. He's a mentor who wants Naru not to die and makes the most of it fighting the Predator. The rest of the cast in this movie are so dry and just do what the plot requires until they get killed off. Basically, Naru and the generics. The original Predator didn't have the deepest characters either, however, there was a lot more distinguishing them than in this movie. They worked well as a unit, played well off each other, and they all had a stake in what happened in the story, trapped in a jungle having to rely on each other to survive. And as a result, you felt genuinely bad when they started dying to a space alien who was hunting them one by one.
Billy, you know something. What is it?
I'm scared, Pancho.
Bullshit. You ain't afraid of no man.
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
Which brings us to the Predator. The Predator has a solid representation, but suffers from a weird redesign and numerous plot holes within the story. One of the things which has allowed the Predator to last through the years and became an icon is the fact it's not just an action monster with advanced technology that hunts and kills in brutal fashion. The Predator is a character. The fact that the Predator is usually played by a man in a suit means it's always imbued with personality and a sense of purpose. The actual Predator in Prey has nothing added to it. It doesn't do anything interesting, it just hunts and kills anything aggressive or carrying a weapon. That's it. There are some little moments of nuance here and there, but there aren't a lot of thoughts you can discern from watching the Predator's behavior. Something all the previous movies for some reason can't seem to recapture after the original. The whole movie just rides on, do you find the Predator cool? Well, good, no script writing necessary. Also worth noting, in the original, it's been clear that the Predators hunt humans for sport and collect skulls as trophies. As we see glimpses of the monster all throughout the story of the original, evidently the culture sees this as status symbols of sorts. That being said, the main protagonist Naru is a strong character who is capable of taking out any man single-handedly, although at the same time we are constantly told through its storytelling that the Predator refuses to kill her because he doesn't see her as a threat. And the movie plays out like it isn't sure exactly how it wants to portray the protagonist, bouncing between strong and weak whenever it's convenient for the plot. Not to mention a plot that revolves around a large, intelligent predator that you would never ever see coming. The alterations to the Predator is more monstrous than ever, it's uglier to look at than in previous movies, with fixes to the mandibles and skin work. Unlike and compared to the original design that was a classic, simple, recognizable entity that caused wonder and astonishment. Artistic interpretation is understandable and where you want to take the Predator in the script, but you don't want to change the biological points of its design, unless you justify it in the narrative.
Two different types of them out there. Now they're similar, but they're different. It's kind of like the difference between dogs and wolves. The larger ones hunt the smaller ones. It's some kind of blood feud, I guess, been going on for a long time.
It's not a terrible design, it doesn't fail at the basic concept of being a Yautja, but it strays pretty far from what you expect the character to look like. Not to mention the fact that the original design of the creature created by the great Stan Winston was perfect. According to an interview with the director, his idea was this is an animalistic, wild subspecies that comes from a different hemisphere of the Predator home planet, hence why the different design. Not a bad idea, however, predators are creatures that can vocalize. It's a much stronger character. It's not a dirty monster that says roar and kills people.
What the hell are you?
Prey is a lot of things, but a good film is not one of them. A middle-of-the-road movie that collapses into anonymous, bland action sequences, half-baked symbolism, weak dialogue, and no interesting characters to care about, with an ending unsatisfying and feels undeserved, including repeating certain tropes from the original Predator that didn't fit very well.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Do it! Do it! Do it!
Do it. I'm gonna do it.
The Predator itself is pretty cool, but still, like all the previous movies in the franchise after the first film, it's just a pop cultural representation of a character, as already mentioned. A worthy Predator film, but not a memorable one.